Okay, guys, here we go. I'm going to show you where to find the necessary materials for the critical analysis. If you go to my lessons page over here in the left-hand column, you'll see this link right here. It's linked, its name is Animal Farm Handouts. And once that opens, you can come over here and you can see the different things that are being made available to you. Okay. Um, Including the assignment sheet, which I have a separate video on, and an example of the critical analysis itself. So let me open that up and show you what this thing looks like. It looks really similar to the argument essay. It's a little bit more detailed, but not necessarily any longer. The first thing I want you to notice is that you have to use my title and you have to use my thesis statement. So those are two things you don't have to worry about. Next, you have to use my subtopics, characters, plot points, and themes. You have to use those. From that point on, it's up to you what you want to write. For example, underneath characters, you're going to be required to get at least 2 of the characters from the story. And here, under plot points, 2 plot points from the book, the novel, and then here, 2 themes, and I'll show you where you can go to get some theme ideas. Moving back up here, notice though, I take the A detail and I break it down into 2 parts. Just like the subtopic is broken down into A and B, the A detail is broken down into 1 and 2. In other words, what you're going to be doing here in this example, if I'm writing on Napoleon, the first thing I'm going to do in the essay is talk about how he represents Stalin. That's distant past history. Then the second part of this paragraph is going to be how Putin is also like Napoleon in the book. Another example here, let me talk about the sheep from the book. How the sheep in the book represent the Russian proletariat of 1917 during the revolution. But we can also view these sheep from the book as representative of an ongoing problem today with certain political supporters. So in other words, every single one is going to be distant history. Every single 2 is going to be recent or current history. It happens again down here under plot points. This is the revolution in the book, the Battle of the Cowshed. This is how it represents the Russian Revolution of 1917. And this is an example from relatively recent history, the Revolution of 1989 that caused the fall of the Berlin Wall. This is an event that happens in the book, how Napoleon rewrites historical fact, which is representational of how Stalin rewrote history regarding Trotsky. And then that's the distant past, and this is the relatively recent past. So basically what you're doing is you're comparing this character or this character or this event or this event to distant history and then more contemporary history in subtopics 1 and 2. Down here, you'll be picking themes. Okay, and I'll show you where to go to get some themes. Talk about your first theme and talk about how it applies to distant history and how this theme can apply to recent history or even current history. Same thing down here. Pick out a theme, talk about how it refers to distant history and either relative history or current history. And you can see once that is expanded in the essay, it really is no longer than what your argument essay paragraphs were. Okay, it's about the same length. So don't worry that just because you are expanding your outline, you're necessarily expanding your word amount. You're not necessarily doing that. The outline in this case is just showing more detail. Don't forget, I do want you to have a subtopic sentence in which you list the subtopic, and then I want an introduction to A detail in which you mention the A detail by name, and then talk about 1. Go on to B. I'm so sorry, I caught a mistake. This will be A, this is 1, and this is 2. So here is the subtopic, here's A, this is 1, this is 2. A, 1, and 2. And then when you're ready to go on to your B detail, which according to the outline is sheep, that's B, this is 1, this is 2. Okay, there's a transition. Then you move on to the next subtopic. Subtopic by name, transition. Here is A. Here is 1. Here is 2. Moving on to B, transition. Here is B. Here is 1. Here is 2. Now, when you come down to the idea of themes, a simple Yahoo or Google search will get you plenty of themes from which you can choose, or you can go to a legitimate source, which is SparkNotes, and it gives you all sorts of information, legitimate, citable, quotable information that you can use not only for your themes but also for your character analyses, like Napoleon or Snowball or Boxer or whoever. Okay. Now, one of the requirements I've got for you to do is to use a biographical source to help you get some biographical information on some of your historical characters. And what you do is you click on the biographies, the database here, and this opens up. This is a link to Illinois Central College's library, and this is a database biography search. If you type in Stalin, you click that. This is just general background information, but if you want some biographical information about him, you click on this, and it gives you a bunch of different sources. Now, a source like this is going to be really handy because it's clearly going to talk about how he was a criminal, a war criminal. So I'm going to click on this, and you might find some good stuff in here that you can use and quote, and then come down here, and here's the MLA citation for you. And all you have to do is just select this, copy this, and put it on your works cited page. Okay, so there's that. All right, let's take a look at the works cited page since I'm talking about that. You come down here, and as you can see, I didn't leave too much of the imagination. I thought about just everything that you could possibly need, and I put it on this page, including where you can go get information for SparkNotes. It's right here. There's your link to SparkNotes, and this is a perfectly good site to use. But also, try to get out there and get some critical information about some of your historical people other than using the biographies database by simply doing a Yahoo or a Google search to find out if you can come up with some editorial information, some subjective information about any of your non-fictional people. If necessary, if you have to include a definition in your essay, make sure you include the dictionary that you got it from. And this I got from the biographies database. That's the MLA that I just copied and pasted there. And another thing that you can do is go search, if you're interested in this, you don't have to, some quotes from George Orwell. And if you'll find that he actually has quite a bit to say. Some interesting, good quotes that you might be able to use in the essay. Okay, once again, if you're looking at terms that you want to include in your essay and you need definitions for, make sure you include the dictionary that you got them from. And then here's another SparkNotes link about themes. This link right here, if you follow this link, will give you some good themes from which to choose for your essay. Moving back up here, give me an example. I've got this term here, a cautionary tale. George Orwell believed so much in how people should learn from his mistakes in history that he wrote Animal Farm as a cautionary tale. I better give that a footnote just in case people don't know what that means. Here's my footnote, and that source where I got it is on the Works Cited page. So for definitions and things like that, don't forget, footnotes might be the way to go. Here's some more. This is oligarchy, footnote on oligarchy, and then a footnote on the Bolsheviks, which is right here, just in case people don't know what that was. All right. And if you have any questions as I skim back up to the top here, just catch up to me in class.